Hello, everybody, and welcome. We're in Kyiv today, and we're sitting with the Acting Minister of Digital Transformation, Oleksandr Bornyakov.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, thank you very much for having us, and thank you for joining us on TVP World.
My pleasure.
So, it seems like you have some difficult shoes to fill. Mikhailo Fedorov is now one of the most important people in the country. What are your plans for the Ministry of Digital Transformation?
Well, I was among first employees. I came with Mikhailo, and when the ministry was created in 2019, which makes my job not so hard. It would have been harder if I had joined, I don't know, as a new member. Many things that Mikhailo was voicing as a vision of the ministry was creating inside the team. So it's a product, it's a collective product of minds inside the ministry, and of course I share this vision. So we probably would continue the major course that he was telling before. Maybe it was a slight focus and shifting focus on two things. First, that in 2019 we came with the vision that we can turn Ukraine into country in smartphone. So it was the concept of digital state together with mobile first concept when we said that everything should be in smartphone because people literally carrying smartphone everywhere with them. Now I think that it's time for another concept which we call agentic state, where services, government services must be, well, not must be, but will be conducted with the help of AI agents. And even most complex services will be provided by, let's say, app with a voice command where you can just ask and it will know exactly where to go and what it has to ask from you, what is missing. Mm-hmm. And so your interaction will be basically very simple. So you wouldn't have to understand complexity of government machine. You just have one entry point, which is your phone, and you ask like, I need to change my residentship address. And it says, okay, I know that you live in this apartment because you own this apartment and it's government register. This is a place where you want to change your residentship address from. You say yes, and the next step he's asking like, okay, where you want to change your address to, and you say like this address, another city, for example, like, let's say from Kyiv to Odessa, and you say which in Odessa street, I don't know, whatever street it is, and you say, can you give me confirmation of your ownership, because I don't have in my register any mentions that you own this place. And you say, I have a rental agreement, okay, show it to me. So then you're able to camera, photo, and then AI can literally read, seeing that this agreement is okay, and say, okay, I can change your residentship address to you. But you need to go first to, for example, he said, you need to go, because it's a war, and you are subject to draft, you need to change, also make the changes in recruitment center. So it advises you what to do in order to get it to the point. So it's not just like you have to figure out everything by yourself or read some guidance, but this is like this kind of things that we want to introduce. And we believe that agentic state is a vision of how government services must be conducted in the 21st century. So that's the first priority. Mm-hmm. And the second priority is pay more attention on the digital economy. This is actually our policy. Everything is related to IT companies, startups, venture capital. So I would like to dedicate more time to figure out what we could do in order to support this ecosystem and achieve more technical sovereignty, because we need more electronics, more stuff for the drones parts and that produced in Ukraine. So we're going to see what we can do in order to boost this areas related to electronic circuits, chips, small electronics, and of course embedded software, this kind of stuff. But of course, and I would call this like priority number 3, we also policy making for telecom. So, and telecom becomes like a critical part of a critical infrastructure of Ukraine. So, development of better cell networks, fixed internet, 5G, and other things that also is a priority.
Right, and that's being rolled out as we speak. Yes, in Lviv, Kharkiv, and
Borodanka is a city near the Kiev.
Yep.
Those are pilots. We testing now how it's working, and next step is probably going for 5G toolbox, which is also policy in the European Union, and then we're going to see about rollout. So I think it's too early to say there's going to be like full rollout in Ukraine, but the pilots are pretty much successful. So then we have to figure out frequencies, licenses, this auctions, and other stuff before we're going to roll out.
Okay, that's interesting. I would like to ask you a little bit about Starlink. I know there's some things you can say and some things you can't say because you can refer to your ministry only. But how has Starlink helped civilians here in Ukraine, and how is it continuing to help civilians?
Well, I think that number of Starlinks in Ukraine exceeding hundreds of thousands. And with Russians bombing us literally almost every day, there are places that Starlink is just only option. And of course, a lot of backups based on that, and hospitals, schools, especially those who are closer to the front lines, energy objects, and government institutions rely on this technology. So by the scale, I guess you can imagine how important it is for us. We thankful, by the way, to Poland, who provided us. In the beginning, I think it was first big package, 5,000 Starlinks, but then there was another 15,000, so totally 25,000 by Poland, and this is enormous help. This help really this had really huge impact.
And how is cooperation with Poland between the two ministries, between Ukraine and Poland in this matter? And I even relate to DIA and the things that you're doing with the online government services. Is there good cooperation?
Yes, yeah. So Poland is also trying to, I think, provide the best for their citizens. They're very much eager to understand how they can do the best way. Of course, there are some legal differences between government construct in Ukraine and Poland, so they can just we can just copy things between each other. But we definitely share visions. We had numerous conversations with representatives. They coming to us, we going there, sharing the experience of rolling out different kind of services and explaining how it works. We're pretty open. We're actually open for everybody because I think we're pioneers in these concepts that I mentioned before, like mobile first and digital state.
Yeah, that would be my final question for you. I mean, how do you convince your citizens that they can use a chatbot, an AI chatbot, to do some pretty sensitive things at times, right?
Well,
when dealing with government.
It started a long time ago before that.
Yeah.
In 2019, when we introduced the concept, well, basically everybody was laughing. I remember that time. I was pitching DM myself, and okay, let's see, but we don't believe in you. And but when we release it, it actually picked up the audience because it was about picking the right audience. For DIA, it was drivers, and if the regulation assumes that you have to carry paper driver license, but if you've been stopped, you're afraid because this way you can have a lot of troubles. I don't know how it's in Poland, but if in Poland there is trouble when policemen stop you, you don't have driver license, that is your audience.
Right.
Because I'll probably, most likely I won't forget my phone, but I can forget my driver license. So, and then there was the audience was slowing, but when the COVID hit and we introduced digital COVID certificates, it also helped because nobody was actually when you carried this paper with the QR code. And what was even better than we synchronized COVID certificates with European Union. So I remember myself traveling to Germany, and everybody like German was carrying paper, and I came to this custom with the phone. I showed the QR code, and when they was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" So Ukrainian were, and this brought us another couple millions user database, and people used to when you install it, when you start to use it, you most likely get familiar with this and do not uninstall it. But in a parallel, there was also an initiative called DA Osvita, which is DA Education. And this project was aimed for elder population to familiarize them with starting from like what's the email, how to use email, how to use certain search engines and all kind of stuff. And then eventually going to how to use government services. Again, we launched this, was I don't know, like 100,000 people used this. We made this very creative in a form of TV series with the Ukrainian local stars. So like local stars that you adore, you're familiar. Yeah. He explains, or he explains how to use this technology. So that was quite popular. But then again, when COVID became a big issue, then we hit another like 300 or 400,000 people. Because they was at home, they were probably nothing to do. Right. They were watching these videos, and then when you watch the video, we also created like a government initiative. We issue your certificate like a digital certificate, and you go through pretty not complex questionnaire, and then you receive a certificate from the government that you're familiar with the digital instruments. And this is also like was incentive for people. They started to use this. And so my answer is that you have to think about different audiences and be more like, creative agency. Like what, if I need to run marketing campaign, what should I do? And this is how we approached this, and this worked out. I know that in Estonia, like maybe 15 years ago before DIA, they started to put computers in libraries, and we also did this. 6,000 libraries was equipped with their computers with training for the people, and elder population came there to somehow be more familiar with those technologies. So this is what every nation should do if they want to be digital.
Well, Acting Minister of Digital Transformation, Oleksandr Bornyakov, thank you so much for having us. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks. And that's all the time we have here on this round of talks. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time. Goodbye.